Crumbination and other viewers of this video. Who are you? What the hell are you watching this video for? I don't know. Whatever. I just made an unpleasant I just had an unpleasant realization. Have you ever gotten up in the morning and gotten going out the door and on your way to work and realized that you forgot to brush your teeth? Yeah. Probably not that big of a deal to you guys because you're just watching me, but and only for a few minutes at that. But yeah, it's awkward. You can bet the first thing I do when I get into work is grab a piece of gum. Was that too much information? Is that not cool? Can we not share those kinds of things? I'm not sure. I think we can. I think that's okay. That's cool, right? Yeah. Well, happy post 4th of July. We got through the weekend. It was a very long weekend for me. It wasn't actually. You know what? It wasn't too bad. It was a good point was made, or I made it a good point to follow this rule. You know, you got to do something to make your day worthwhile. And you know, with all the shit in the house and just it hasn't been the most pleasant place to be. You know, just trying to, you know, I tried to make an effort to, you know, make sure each day ends on something positive and there's something worthwhile with each day. And I think that was relatively successful. I said yesterday that I went to Best Buy to check out all the new tablets, and I was going to talk more about it today, and I'm going to, but I'm going to save it towards the end of the video because if you aren't an unapologetic nerd, this will probably be boring and not worthwhile. Of course, I don't know any of my viewers who aren't unapologetic nerds and would be totally interested in my opinions about all the new tablets and screen sizes and other such bullshit. So, at any rate, I'll still talk about it later. And I certainly hope Tim is listening or watching at this point. I don't know where he's been, but he was supposed to do a review of the playbook, and he hasn't. So, this is kind of like one-upping him in a one-up that has not been done or something. I'm behind this giant truck, a Snapple truck. They don't usually ride on these roads this road that I take. It's odd. So this weekend, I became a little bit of a professional movie whore, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I enjoy the movies, but I mean, we went to the movies. Obviously, first off was Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon in 3D. And I gotta tell you guys, you know, I am not a proponent of 3D. I've never been a proponent of 3D. I think the 3D has been a fad and one that should pass really quickly, but after Green Lantern and now Transformers, I've seen the light. I dig it. I dig it hard. It's kind of awesome. And I never thought I'd be the one to say that. But about Transformers, I don't know who hasn't seen it. I can't imagine anybody that's been the case for anybody, but I agree with a lot that's already been said. So if you run a review, well, no, actually most critic reviewers haven't been very generous towards it, but I still agree with most everything that's been said. One of my Facebook's friends, shoot, I had it in my head and I lost it. I don't remember what he said, but in general, a personal opinion about this film is that it really makes me appreciate the second one, believe it or not. Now, I am an unapologetic fan of the Transformer films. I really am. And when the first one came out, I thought it was going to be stupid and boring and completely uninteresting. So when I liked it, that was a major, huge, shocking surprise to me. And then I fell in love with it. Then the second one came out, and I liked it for what it was. And like I said, I watched it this past week, and there were still enough watchable moments in it to make it worthwhile, but it's still a pretty bad film. But my main point about Transformers 3 is that I have a fond new appreciation for number 2, because without number 2, we could have never gotten to number 3. And number 3 is beautiful, it is epic, it's probably one of the best apocalyptic films I've ever seen, I think. I mean, just everything about it. You know, one of my big criticisms about Revenge of the Fallen, spoiler alert, was the death of Optimus Prime. And I thought it was really cool that he went there and did that, but that moment did not have the kind of impact that, you know, the star of the series dying should have. And that really bothered me about it. And I think Michael Bay learned his lesson, because in the third one, there's 2 of those moments, and they both work. And it's just hit, the moment is hit out of the park. So that was really cool. On a side note about these movies, I got the scores for all 4 movies I'm talking about, Transformers through Green Lantern. Transformers score, I've been a huge fan of. The original Transformers score by Steve Jablonsky, I've been a huge fan of since it came out. That's really great thematic music. Revenge of the Fallen, I was hoping for more of the same, and it was not. That was a very disappointing album. Following the chronology here, the more recent buy was Green Lantern. I was hoping, you know, when you watch the movie, you don't really grasp everything that's happening with the music, so it's cool to get, you know, you gotta listen to it separately to tell if it was good or not. Green Lantern was, I want to say James Newton Howard, and it was very weak. Green Lantern was mostly mood music, what I would refer to as mood music, yeah. Like atmospheric music. It wasn't truly thematic music. So that was a very disappointing score to listen to and spend my money on. But finally came the third Transformers score, and that one came, interestingly enough, it was scheduled to release, then they postponed it, so I guess he could finish the score. Again, Steve Jablonsky, he knocked it out of the park. There's some great rehashes of some original themes that are beautiful. They're really beautiful. So if you're into that kind of thing and like to have an appreciation for film music, definitely check out the Revenge of the Fallen score. The last movie that we saw, it was actually in the theaters, was last night. That was Larry Crowne. I know, what? Seriously, Larry Crowne? It was actually a kind of a brilliant film. It was really, really good, and you know, Tom Hanks deserves some major props for it. It was different. It was, it knew what the cliches were, and it stayed away from them. And it had just this great cast across the board. So yeah, I was there with all the other old people watching the movie. But yeah, it's very unique, very different. If you have an opportunity to see it, you know, don't be swayed by the general audience of older folks. It's funny. It is funny. I think I was getting a lot of humor that the old people weren't getting. So I know I didn't time this quite to my ride, so I need to wrap this up. Tablet talk time! Oh, I really am, as Slacktiv said in the comments, or intimated in the comments, I'm a bit of a fetishist for technology, and, you know, portable, mobile technology is probably the best. I mean, back in the days of original Palms and, I think you've probably seen some of the stuff I've got in my closet. Anyway, never, scratch that. That was, I'll cut that out. I'll cut that out. Wait, I don't edit these. So I went to Best Buy to play with all these new toys. I dig that Best Buy has taken this stuff seriously, and really, they I don't know about the Best Buy near you. I think it's probably it should be everywhere at this point. You know, they've reorganized, and they've got a full lineup of tablets, and stuff that you can sit and play with. So I looked at the touchpad. The HP touchpad was out. The Galaxy Tab 10.1, the Playbook. But ultimately, there's a twist ending in all of this. So I don't know how many of you guys, what you guys feel, what's your temperature on this, but, you know, overall, you know, Android Honeycomb is kind of a big deal. I don't like it. I did not really care for it. I spent a good time with it. I've played with it at least twice now. Just did not dig it. I think it's a little bit of a clunky interface. So I'm not a fan of that. Although the one tablet that is just really, really compelling is the Asus Transformer. It's got a little bit of a widescreen format, which is cool but counterintuitive. But that price point of $399 is like the cheapest full-feature tablet out there. So that's compelling. But I don't dig Honeycomb. And the big twist here, the big thing is that I'm not, you know, I like the iPad. There really is no denying how perfect the iPad is, but I'm a fan of the smaller screen size. I think the 7-inch screen size is that perfect fit. To that end, I played a lot with the Playbook, the BlackBerry Playbook, although I'm not a fan of BlackBerry anymore. The Playbook seems like it could be worthwhile. I like the screen size. It's a good size overall. What really bothered me is the application switching. It looked cool, like the touchpad, but it just seemed like it was a lot that you have to go through to switch applications. And I think there might be a feature where it was just swipe side to side rather than swipe up to open the application switcher. But yeah, that was my big criticism about the Playbook. It just felt like it was starting to become a little bit much to just go from one application to another. And that would get annoying. And got annoying just playing with it for 5 minutes. And then the other thing that I made sure I did was play with the keyboards on all of them, the on-screen keyboards. The Playbook, I did not have a good experience with any of the keyboards. It is true what they say about the Galaxy Tab 10.1. It is an incredibly thin device. It's nice to hold. It's very pretty. You know, it's still running Honeycomb, and as far as I'm concerned, that wasn't a great user experience. The twist ending to all of this is the little tablet that could. It's the HTC Flyer 7-inch tablet. It's running Gingerbreak with Sense on it. So it's the phone version of Android on the 7-inch tablet, much like the original Galaxy Tab, but I think this one's more customized. Everything about that, the only thing I did not like about the Flyer was the plasticky feel, but otherwise it's the perfect form factor. The user interface was fun to use and simple to use, familiar, and the on-screen keyboard worked brilliantly, in my opinion. It worked, and it could just be the portrait orientation of a 7-inch device, but it just worked well. The downside is that for such a small device, running running Gingerbreak, it seems like it's a little overpriced. So maybe I can find, maybe there's a way to find it cheaper somewhere. But I know, like I said, Tim has the Playbook. He has the Playbook. He's had it for a little while. I asked him for a review. He hasn't posted one yet. So maybe he'll follow up after seeing this with a review. Yeah, I mean, and then of course, there is the iPad. I bought the original iPad 3G when it came out and used it as my primary mobile device for a good long time, and this was pretty much the first time I spent any real time with the iPad 2, and it really is a much faster, much smoother device. It feels better in your hands. It is thinner, more comfortable to use. As much as I want to get one, and I could get one right now, I'm hesitant because I have this feeling in my gut that Apple has iPad 2S or something up their sleeve for September. So I'm trying to be patient and hopefully waiting to buy the iPad 2 might have proven to be a smart move. Getting to work here, so I need to wrap this up. This was a lot longer than usual, which means I'm gonna have a pain in the ass getting it uploaded, but I had fun with it. I think this is possibly the first time I have talked so much geek to you guys. That's nuts. So we'll see how much you guys appreciate it. On that note, stay creative, people. Stay creative in Crumbination.